My name's Katie and I'm the Senior Training Team Leader at St John Ambulance Victoria, here to talk about epilepsy. My sort of story started when I was about 13, so it's quite common when you have a condition like epilepsy to have something like that start when you hit puberty or when lots of hormonal changes start happening, so when you're really young. Epilepsy is such a condition where, there's not a whole lot of answers. Lots of people can have epilepsy and you wouldn't know until later in life when you actually have a seizure. And lucky for me, the medication did start to work, which was great, and I got on a really good path. So, now I'm on good medication and it's been stable for many, many years. I've been really fortunate that the epilepsy medication's worked for me, and that's allowed me to get on with my life, allowed me to have my licence. That's quite a big thing for a young person. Especially when you're 17, 18 and about to get your licence and then having a seizure. So epilepsy really played a part in my teenagehood at that stage for sure. I mean, epilepsy or having seizures is where you have a large amount of electrical discharges happening at once in the brain. So emotion makes a lot of sense that you'll get a flood of electric. It's like a lightning storm, they say, in your brain that's happening. And so you can get a flood of those feelings, flood of hormones that will affect things, and it's just too much information, it's too much electricity, and you can have a seizure. Everyone's different, but for me, you can get warning signs. Some people get a brief warning, sometimes it's only a few seconds, for some people it's minutes. They actually get quite a long sort of warning, different feelings, different things that can happen for them. So I would get a warning, but only about sort of 10 seconds, or it felt like 10 seconds, like very quick before something would happen. So it was a very unusual feeling. Nowadays, what my epilepsy affects is in terms of the mental stuff. 2 years ago I had my little boy, and pregnancy was definitely, I haven't had a pregnancy without epilepsy, but I think it would be very different for someone who doesn't have this condition. So for me it was quite a factor of being aware I've got pregnancy now, so I better make sure that everything goes well, and what if I have a seizure during this time. But what we did do is, I got extra care during pregnancy, birth and postpartum, so we did have a neurologist speaking with me and helping me to make sure that everything's on track. I think it's really important that people understand what to do, and even more so what not to do, in fact, during a seizure and afterwards. There's two sort of stages to it really. It's not just what do you do during the time, but afterwards is really important. People do hear different myths. They do hear someone saying, oh, you should do this or try that, or make sure you do this, or it's fine, nothing's going to happen. And it's, as you know, it's very different for everybody. So I think it's super important that people are aware of what to do during a seizure. If someone were to start having a seizure which involves convulsions, it's more about making sure the person's really safe, not trying to stop the seizure, not trying to restrain the person or, stop what's happening. They sort of say fit it out, just let them have their seizure because you can't control it anyway. If someone was having a convulsion where they're hitting their head on some tiles, for example, you put something soft under their head, or something very flat, so you're not actually interrupting what's happening. If there's against a table or a chair, you'd move that out of the way so they can just have their seizure in a safe space. Timing it is really important. For one thing, to know what to do in terms of if it lasts too long, but also to give that information back to the person later. So timing it, keeping them safe is really important, being with them. Knowing when to call 000 as well. If you don't know the person, if you don't know their history, you should call an ambulance. If it's been longer than 5 minutes or 5-minute seizure, you should call an ambulance. If there's any injury, if there's anything that's going on that this is not a normal scene for this person, then definitely call an ambulance. And then when the seizure does settle, it's also knowing what do you do now, because that person, like I said, is extremely exhausted. Their whole body has been going into massive muscle jerks. So they're usually very out of it, they're quite unconscious in a way. So you want to do your action plan, your doctor's ABCD, know what to do in terms of someone lying on the floor, for example. And that will usually lead you to rolling them into recovery position. So putting them into a safe position on their side so they can wake up slowly. Epilepsy is a scary condition because when it happens, even if you're aware of it, even if you've seen it before, seeing it with someone that you know, someone that you love, makes it so much different. A balanced lifestyle is really important for epilepsy. Sleep is extremely important for people with epilepsy. Again, everyone's situation is different. There's not sort of one case fits all, but it's evident that if you can have a balanced lifestyle as best as possible, routine is really important for someone with epilepsy. Getting good sleep, every night is really important. You certainly can live a very, normal life, like what is normal, but a really healthy, balanced lifestyle. You can, go on to do all the things you want to do. Medication these days, as I said, is amazing. The research that goes into epilepsy. So things are always changing. There's always hope on the horizon of what's going to happen next. Our bodies are forever evolving and changing. So, there is plenty of hope that things will continue to change. And therefore, that they may very well just need that time with you to move through this condition. It doesn't have to be, a life-changing condition. Everyone's is different, but when it comes down to it, like I say, it's scary, and I can imagine as a parent, I'm worried about my own children for that case, but you do the best you can as a parent. So do the best you can with your children and help them move through the condition, learn who they are and what works for them. And no doubt there will be something that works,